There's the mark of excellence right there. That's what we're talking about. OEM. She ain't perfect, but man, she's looking good now. Well, that was bound to happen. Look at that. But we're gonna try to weld a nut onto the end of these bolts. Oh boy, this is perfect. Hey everybody, it's Adam again, and welcome back to my garage. Well, it's looking like the old 2004 STI is going to have to play some maybe fall and winter duty here. Yukon is still inoperational, we'll say, and I'm going to get that figured out at some point. But you know, we've had a little lingering issue on this 04 STI for a while. The brakes have been pulsing pretty much the last 14 years. I did the brake rotors back in 2011, 2012 time frame, and you know, it never really felt very smooth, but they had to be redone back then. Well, now it's time to redo them now, because if I'm going to be driving this in the wintertime, I want to have fun without the brakes pulsing like crazy. And if there's any other fun that happens along the way, you'll be along with me, so come along for the ride. And actually, take a look at the shimmy down here. Yeah, that's what we're talking about fixing right there. There we go. All right, let's get right down to work here. So we got to go and find where the old brake parts are at first thing. I bought them like 2 or 3 years ago, and I put them in my garage somewhere. Yeah, and I haven't forgotten about Project E36 XTI, but we're going to get back at that this winter. You know, the garage is actually pretty clean by my standards right now, but I think I remember putting it over in this pile of parts somewhere over here. That doesn't look like there's any brake rotors over there. There's some old chairs I got to weld back together, and some stuff from my automatic lawnmower and the winch that we used on Project, before it was Project E36 XTI, we actually went off-roading. There we go. This is what we're looking for. Piled underneath this stuff here, we've got some Brembo ceramic brake pads for the front. And yeah, the brake pads for the rear, okay. And then we got both sets of rotors down there, which is even better. So those are also Brembo OEM replacements. Previously, I had gone with some cheap replacements for rotors and some Hawk pads up front, which, I mean, honestly, I did a couple of autocrosses with the brakes in this orientation. And also the last time I went to Tri-City Dragway with the Subaru, you know, we did a little autocross action out there. Seemed to hold up okay, but it's just been vibrating way too much for my liking. And actually getting a little discoloration and stuff on there. I don't know what that's from. And you know what? I actually kind of see, I don't know if it'll show up on the camera. It actually looks like some little thermal cracks or something on there. That might be the vibration I'm feeling, because you can really only see them down there. You don't really see them anywhere else on here. And as far as the wear goes on this, I mean, the wear isn't so bad on these either, but I don't know, man. Ever since I put these things on, they really never felt all that smooth. Pretty good braking power and so forth, but you know, it's time to swap these things out. By the way, in the back, these are still the original OEM rotors back here. They're worn down pretty far. They don't squeak or anything like that. They've never grinded. Here we are at 128,000 miles, and I did not touch these rotors the last time when I did the fronts. So those things are probably originals on there. Hopefully we're able to get those calipers off the back. And then one more thing to mention is we're going to put the winter shoes back on this thing for the first time in probably 8 years. So little treat in store for you on the rims and the tires that are on those. And that'll be the cherry on top once we're done with this thing. You know, just a year and a half of sitting in inventory, not really doing anything at all. You know, broken open here. in shipping, and we'll do a quick inspection and see. I guess they, no rust or anything like that. They look good. There's the mark of excellence right there. That's what we're talking about. OEM Brembo rotors. Got a nice powder coat on there too, so that'll be good to keep these things from getting rusty. A little bit of a chip back there, but oh well. Yeah, so let's get to work. All right, 19 millimeter do the trick. Actually, yeah, we'll just get them a little bit loose enough here, and we'll get a jack underneath there. Yeah, if there's one success story out of this whole project today, it's that I didn't kill the brain cells that helped me remember where this special security bit was. And oh, by the way, on the driver's side over here, I ended up breaking a stud the last time I tried to get the tires off. Broke right off inside of the special security lug nut. But the other ones have this on there, so I was going to need this at some point. Oh, well. Yeah, I had an extra lug nut sitting in there. Interesting. Okay, now on the back side here, it's another 19 millimeter bolt. And let's hope these things aren't seized. That one came out good. There we go. A little tight, but manageable. All right, let's get this rotor off here and do a little closer inspection. Oh, goodness. This, I'll show you here in a second, but I gotta take care of something here. Yeah. So we talked about the cracks on the front of this thing. And, I can't, right here. Just a couple little cracks around here. On the back side, very interesting. This thing has got pitting underneath here pretty bad. The actual material missing kind of all around here. I have personally not seen something like that before. If you have seen something like that, let me know down in the comments and clue us in on why this would have pitting here. It almost looks like it's where the friction material stopped on here at some point. That might explain why she was grinding and clicking a little bit, but I don't really see any cracks or anything on the backside. She is pretty glazed though. I don't know if that's a problem, but let's take a look at these pads in here. And these little guys, basically there's a little, like, I would say just a little pin. There's a little pin that you don't want to drop like that. Jeez. Basically on all these Brembos, or really on any sort of fixed caliper design, they've got these sliding pins here that guide the brake pads back into place. And we're going to get both of these out of here. We don't want to lose them like I did with that other one, because sometimes these kits have replacement pins and things like that in them, and sometimes they don't. But I managed to lose that other one. There it is. Okay, let's get these guys pushed out of here. If they come this way, you know what? So this spring here is resulting in tremendous pressure on this pin. Makes it a little bit harder to push out, but I'm gonna have to get some pliers to pull on that. And some people recommend like putting a hanger on this and hanging this up so you don't drop the caliper down on the, just down and break this. But I don't have time for that. Okay, number one. And we'll pull this guy out of here. Hang on to that. And let's get number two here. There we go. There we go. Yeah, she's got a little bit of wear on there. That's interesting. Let's see how these pads look here. So these were Hawk performance pads. And I was autocrossing this car, previously. Hawk red stuff. These were, man, I'm pretty sure these were Hawk pads, but red stuff reminds me of EBC. You could tell I was really gunning for the hardcore red stuff, simply because, I was going to race this, even though I didn't bother changing out the rear brake pads or rotors when I did this the first time. But yeah, I guess it was about time for these guys to come out of here too. We're just about down to the vent there. So, I don't feel so bad pulling out something that still stops. If it stops and goes, then that's good enough for me. A little bit of cracking on here, not too bad. But yeah, red stuff ceramics. Well, yes. Let's have a look up inside this caliper here. Boots seem to be okay. We'll see if I can get these pistons pushed back a little bit. Yeah, but this is one of the things you have happen. It kind of wants to work itself back and forth, but you gotta push them. So we're pushing the pistons back in. We're going to have to work that fluid back up into the master cylinder. Some people don't like to backfeed them. Some people will bleed them. We're going to see what we can do without bleeding this here, because I know, at least on that other side, I had a stuck bleeder the last time I worked on these brakes. And yeah, I'm going to see what I can do to get this squared away here. All right, so here's what I think we're going to do. We're going to get our old pads back in here. We're going to clamp down one side, and then we're going to clamp down the other side with our little Irwin quick grips here. Yeah, let's get this started here. And I think I left this C-clamp outside last winter or something. The thing we want to do is just equalize it and not allow those other sides to come out as we're pulling her together here. So it should be enough force to hold it, but I don't think it's enough force to pull it in. So we might need to resort to a little heavier C-clamp or something on here. All right, we'll see how that does for us with the new pads and rotors in there. If this just comes out of here. The guides actually seem to be in pretty good shape too. I don't think the kit comes with new guides, but we're gonna go ahead and get this rotor put on here, and I gotta get some anti-seize up inside these guys, get the rotor on there, and then we'll try to shoehorn those pads down inside there. All right, before we put this rotor on there, we're gonna go ahead and spray off any sort of rust inhibitor that's around on the friction surface, as long as my towels don't blow away. All right, maybe we get lucky and there's some grease inside the brake pad box. I won't bank on it, but oh, look at that, nice. Oh, look, I got a new sticker. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, Brembo, and some brake grease. Nice packaging here. I'm gonna get these oily gloves off and switch it to these. And let's see if we can just slide them in. All right, so as far as the grease goes that I dropped somewhere, yeah, there it is. What we're going to do is put grease along the back side of the pad here. This is a little shim on there. We're going to put that up against the pistons themselves on the brake caliper. And then right along the sides here, I'm going to put some grease, because those end up sliding back and forth on those guides that are up inside that aluminum caliper there. So those are where we're going to grease it up. Not going to grease up the pins or anything up on top of here. Do not whatsoever get any grease on the face of this, the friction face. Yo. So there we go. Just get that nice and smeared around on the back of here. Just enough to be a little sticky on the surface. And then we are gonna, like I said, just along the sides on the backing plate, not on the friction surface itself. Don't get it close. There we go. We're getting some movement on there. There we go. And that guy's in place. There we go. Let's get this other pad taken care of. Yes, dear.
I'm going, so if you wanted a ride, I was going to ask you.
Oh. Where are you going right now, dear? There's Laura. Look who came out here right now. Yes, all right. Get out of here. Get out of here. There we go. They're being a little difficult, but not anymore. Yeah, I showed you who's boss. All right. So we're going to pick up our little pins down here again. And I am going to Scotch Brite these, I think, just to clean them up a little bit. We got our two little cotter pins down there. I got to find my other pin here. And we're going to go ahead and clean these guys up before we slide them back in there. The best Scotch Brite pads are the ones that have been sitting outside all summer since I've been working on the timing chain of the Yukon. She still gets the job done. Yeah, that's... Okay. That's good enough. This is perfect. Okay, you want to make sure you got that little hole line there so you don't have to mess around with this once it's in there. Let's get that other pin cleaned up and slid in there. Yes, I didn't want to forget this, and I did. Yes. Oh, okay, give me 30 seconds. Slide this little guy down here and push this pin through here that way. But I didn't line that little hole up like I said I should. There we go. Okay, and all right. Voila, this side is complete. Perfect. So on the back side of this one, just one little pit over here. So for some reason, that driver's side rotor did not like whatever it had on there. I don't know. Yeah. All right, let me show you something about this side. So back when I did the brakes 10 years ago, it's either this side or that side. I think it's this bottom side here because it's flipped over. That I had to put a helicoil inside there because the stud had actually, the bolt had actually broken off in there the last time I took it apart. It was so seized up. So that helicoil actually has held up pretty good. And, you know, we'll put a little more anti-seize on this side over here, and she'll be good to go. She ain't perfect, but man, she's looking good now. Let's get to the back side, and then you'll see the surprise at the end of the video for the wheels I'm going to put back on this beast. Yeah, I'm really curious about how much pad life we got left on these things. You know, they weren't squeaking necessarily. That wear indicator is still a bit of a ways away from the surface, so I don't know. This thing must not use a lot of rear brakes, but there is quite the lip on there. So yeah, you know, yeah, it was definitely time to at least clean this up back here. You know, I could probably let this go on here for another 50 miles or something, but let's just take care of this right now. Interesting. There we go. Let's get these pads out of here and take a little closer look. All right. Oh, you know what? These are Duralasts, and my guess is somebody replaced them once before. Duralast Golds. So the previous owner must have replaced these, because I certainly did not replace the back brakes on this bad boy. I gotta believe these are the original rotors still though, because they are pretty worn down. I want to see what it looks like on the back side here. All right, you know, these are pretty clean, but yeah, there's definitely a ridge on there. You can see right around here, same thing on the back, but pretty even wear, so that's not so bad. Parking brake shoes don't look so bad, but the parking brake is a bit weaker than I'd like. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually index this a little bit and see if I can get those guys to come out there a little bit more. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 threads showing there. We'll take her out to 5 full threads showing. Yeah. Yeah, moved her a little too far. All right, we got 4 threads showing there now. There we go, that's a little better. Just for a nice visual that we didn't use the last time, I am going to put the wear indicator here on this outside one, so I can always kind of look at it at a moment's notice. Oh yeah, slips right in there perfectly. That's perfect. Yes. Yeah, no. Don't want to go too far. There we go. That's it. There we go. Oh, don't want to lose this. Man, this guy tried getting away. Let's clean her up and let's get to the passenger side and we'll be done. All right, perfect. Boy, of course she's going to be a little difficult. Well, that was bound to happen. Look at that. Oh, of course. Jeez. We're gonna have to figure out how to fix this weekend, because this is my only mode of transportation, unless I want to take the risk of driving that, which could drop a valve at any time. So we got to figure out what we're going to do to fix this. All right, we're gonna see, there's enough material sticking out just a little bit. I mean, those things are jammed in there pretty good. I don't know what the deal is. But we're going to try to weld a nut onto the end of these bolts, or what's left of them there, and maybe enough heat coming from the weld will help loosen it up. But that might be our best option right now. Let's see what we can do. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is heat up these threads. We're going to drop a little bit of wax down there. Hopefully it gets into the threads and loosens them up a little bit. Then we're going to weld up on top of here. In fact, because we're going to weld to the top, I think I'm going to come at it from the bottom, just so I don't have to contend with the wax on there when I have to weld. So let's come at it from the bottom here and just heat her up a little bit. And oh, well, don't want that. It's turning into a mess. Son of a basket. So you run into a little snag and it carries into the next day. Well, you never know what the next day is going to hold for weather. Take a look at this. Yeah, we got a nice, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches of snow last night. And let's take a look at the Subaru back here to see. Yeah, this is great. Absolutely great. Well, you know what? The good thing is these new rotors that are on here, I don't see any surface rust on them yet. The old rotors that came off, yet that's what I remember. They would just get a little moisture and basically start disintegrating like that. So, you know, at least this driver's side's good. I left some tools outside. I'll have to clean those up at some point. Over on this side, let's take a look over on the passenger side here. And then we'll get right back down to business. Oh, yeah, the Yukon's back. Still not working right. Yeah, oh, good. This stuff, at least, I put underneath the I put underneath the car so it wouldn't get snow on it. Looks like it got wet. And of course, the treble caliper here in the back. We're going to get that guy back off and basically go to town on getting those broken bolts out of there. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to drill those out, and then I'm going to put a helicoil inside them, just like I did on the one up front here the last time I did these brakes. And, you know, it's going to be a little bit here, but I think we'll get her back on the road here today. All right, so it's nearly impossible to clamp this thing down without, you know, it's getting all goofy on here because there's really no flat edges on this thing. What I'm going to try to do is actually C-clamp this down to the platform on the bottom here, take this vise off of here, and we're going to machine down where these nubs come out. We're going to get these right down flush to the surface here, and that'll give us a nice clean surface to work with in terms of using the tap and the drill on there when we go ahead and put the helicoils in here. We're going to use my specially designed grinding wheel here that we used for the E30 rear brake conversion. Still got enough life left on her. We're going to basically use this to machine down those nubs nice and perpendicular to the plate down here itself. Yeah, we are. You know, I got to find that thing that locks this thing up. You know, while we're at it, maybe I'm going to fix that broken security lug nut, and I could drill this out too and see if I can redo that at some point. All right, boys, time to just let her rip. So I think I got a nice, pretty level surface to work with there. It's resting on the inside of the guides here. This guy will come down just perfectly, and we're gonna let her rip and see what we can do here. Number one.
But I came here to get the charcoal.
The charcoal?
The charcoal for a snowman.
All right, so we got a nice flat surface there now. And likewise over on this side, nice and flat. So what we're going to do next is center punch these guys, and I'm going to get up my helicoil kit and confirm what size drill bit I got to use to get these guys set in here. I just kind of eye it up, I guess. It's got to be perfect. That looks pretty good. Maybe cheat back this way a little bit. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, that'll do the trick, I think, right there. Just softly. Okay, let's get this other side taken care of. So up on the top one here, you can see it wasn't quite as perfect of a circle back where this broke off. So I kind of eyed it up around where the brake caliper itself is. This guy was a little bit easier, but we got our center punch here. Let's go drill a pilot hole in these guys. All right, so I tried to find the rustiest drill bit I could find. This one looks like, I think it's been sitting, I don't know, inside of a septic tank for the last 20 years. We're gonna use this to do our pilot hole, and this is actually the one that I used before I found my nice little wrench here, this chuck wrench. Now we can just get on it. Make sure it spins straight. Well, yeah, you know, see? Well, it's a little wobbly there. And why is it not turning off? You're not turning off. What's going on here? You gotta slow her down a little bit there, Carl. Yep. Uh-oh. All right. Hole, oh, not all the way through, but you know, that's close enough. Let's get hole number 2 taken care of here. Oh yeah, brother. All right, now it's time for the drill bit that is going to set our hole for the helicoil threads. The funny thing about these kits is they never actually tell you what size bit this is. But, you know, based off of looking at some other bits that I have, it's just a little bit bigger than a 23/64. So what does that end up getting us? You know, we're just going to let her rip here. Wish me luck. No, that's not luck. Judas. Well, it's making me a little nervous. I'm gonna drill a bigger pilot hole here, because that thing started to kind of wanting to walk on me. So let's find another drill size. Oh. You know, if we wanted to put a, I don't know, 1/4 inch size bolt in these, we could actually tap this right now. But we're gonna keep indexing this thing up. Well, she walked a little bit on us. I mean, didn't walk, I guess, that bad, but it's something we're gonna have to address here. Oh well. Keep rolling. There we go.
It's really clean in here.
Yeah, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. Why is it so light?
We do have to break through on these holes though, because they did not quite get all the way to the bottom there. So we're gonna do something really, really dumb here and just do this. No, that's dumb. All right, there we go. So we'll see how that works. All right, that went about as smoothly as I would have expected. I think we'll be okay, but let's see how this thing taps out. Whoa. Put my calibrated vise holder thing in there. Got nice good resistance coming back from this thing as it's going in, so I think we're making some good threads in there. We're going to run her all the way through and then pull her back out. So that seemed to go okay. Yeah, I think that'll be all right. Let's see what happens. Okay, now these guys are supposed to go right down in there, and I think I'm only gonna be able to use one. Basically, you get this guy hooked up on this little screwer inner thinger doer, and basically thread this guy down in here. Okay, actually gonna back this one out just a little bit here. See, she she ain't backing out. So if you ever wonder how these things stay put, they basically bite in up at the top there and they don't back out. So yeah, this guy's tight too. Well, good. Okay, now we got to punch out the bottom of these. Not too much pressure there. All right, boys. Well, all right, I would say she ain't perfect, but I think it'll get the job done. They look like they're in there pretty nice. And let's go mount this thing back up to the car. So we got our caliper back out here. I gotta go find the parts that put everything back together underneath the snow here. I don't want to lose these or those or those. How many lug nuts? 4. Oh, these little pins. Perfect. Yeah, buddy. There we go. But I'm still missing a lug nut. Oh boy. This is perfect. Oh man. Now our guy in there, Leonardo Racing Department, he's all full of snow. By the time we get everything on, I'm gonna have to get the blowtorch out again and find my pins again. Good night. The nice thing is you can just tear the box open because it's sopping wet. Good night. right. And we're good, boys. She's on there. Yeah. Oh. All right, guys, so that brake fluid looked kind of nasty, and it's been a long time since I flushed it. So I'm gonna go ahead and flush the brake fluid. I'm not gonna show you that on camera, but I do use a pressure bleeder. If you're interested in seeing how that works, leave a comment down below and I'll do a special video just on that. Yep. It's still snowing hard out here, but I want to get this thing back on the road today. So I'm gonna go ahead and bleed the brakes. Stay tuned, because I'm still hiding that little surprise for you in the garage. And as soon as I get the brakes bled, we're gonna get this thing put back together and get it back on the ground. Yeah! All right, guys, so I bled the brakes, and that in itself almost turned into a fiasco, but you know, we survived. So let's see here. This is what I was waiting till the end of the episode to show you guys. Back in the corner that's the cleanest in this whole friggin' barn here. This whole barn here, it's not the AC Schnitzer Type 2s, or are those Type 1s? I don't know, correct me, BMW people. But take a look at this. I got the OG BBS 17-inch wheels mounted on some Hankook eye-pikes, and the treads on these are still real nice. So we'll be, well, except for this, what the heck is that? Well, there's a screw stuck in this one here, and it feels like it. No, Scheißen! That's not good. You know, it is what it is. We're gonna just air this thing up and see what happens. These things haven't been on the car in probably I don't know, 6 or 7 years, longer than that actually. I haven't driven this car in the winter probably since like 2016, 2017. So we'll get these on, and we'll get rolling with these things. All right, so Mother Nature gave us all she could here, but we got the brakes done on the STI, and got the OG BBS wheels back on as well. So it's kind of cool to see that OEM look come back. That right rear caliper went on fine with the helicoils, and you know, to break in the brakes or to wear them in, to bed them in, you gotta do some hard stopping. So I don't think we're gonna be doing that on the road today without locking up the ABS. Don't want to do that. So I think what we'll end up doing is wait until the roads dry off. I'll bring you guys along for the ride here at the end, and we'll get the brakes broken in once it gets nice out here. So look at who joined me outside. The kids are loving the snow. All right, whoa, geez.
Now we're punching the snow.
Yeah, boy, get her on the road, boy. As much as I would love to take this on the road right now, I do not want to risk screwing up the break-in. But hey, we got to have a little bit of fun in the driveway here. So I think, boys, we're going to call that a wrap. If you want to see how you break in the brakes, go look at my other Yukon video, the one that happened just before I basically lost oil pressure in the video. But effectively what you do when you go ahead to break in a new set of rotors and pads, take it down the road, go about 40, 45 miles an hour, do about 4 or 5 stops, all the way down to about maybe 10, 15 miles an hour, mild braking, nothing too hard. And then, don't heat up the brakes too much. Try not to stop, put too much heat into the rotors while you're braking it in. And then you want to get it up to about 55, 60 miles an hour. Then do some pretty hard stops. Do about 5 of those as well. Again, don't stop the vehicle completely. So then after that, should be all good to go. You'll end up smelling the rotors. You'll end up seeing a little bit of discoloration and things like that. But by the time you do that procedure, you'll have them all broken in. So don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what? This snowy weather and driving this car right now, it's been a long time since I've done that in the snow. It's kind of convincing me I need to go take it up to Snowdrift coming February up in northern Michigan as a spectator, of course. But we got to get up there. We're going to see some rally action, I think, early next year. So make sure you like and subscribe if you want to watch that content. Thanks again for watching. Leave any questions, comments down below. Don't do anything I just showed you on here because I'm a complete idiot. But hey, life is good. We got this thing back on the road. It's wintertime. It's awesome, baby. Thanks for coming along for the ride.